Hi, my name is Gabriela Whitemarsh, and I am a math teacher at Pasco High School in Pasco, Washington. The majority of my students are incoming students from they're new immigrants to the United States, and so they are all learning how to speak English. They're emerging bilingual learners, and so my instruction is conducted primarily in Spanish. I am someone who is all about equity, and so I thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you about how Shifting Schools program has helped me see different perspectives in terms of equity. Their whole program comes from that lens, everything that they deliver. So starting with synchronous versus asynchronous video of how we deliver instruction, that was one of the major impacts to how I delivered content to my students. At the beginning of the school closure, I started off by doing Zoom meetings with my students when they were mostly available at different times throughout the day. That's how I tried to address the equity issue. I had sessions in the morning, midday, and then in the evening, 6 or 7 o'clock, to account for those students who work. I quickly learned that not all students were able to join our class at that time, and that was one of the very first things that we talked about in the early modules. So I really had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and recording my lessons on video and creating a YouTube channel and uploading those so that my students can access the content at whatever time worked for them, not whatever time worked for me or their peers. Another way was understanding that we need to make it accessible, not just the content, but how students are able to demonstrate understanding, whether that means turning in work, participating, and so making sure that there were different ways that a student could show that to me. So I made sure that I gave my students multiple opportunities for how they could turn in their work, in addition to how they can show assignments and how they can engage within the work. Additionally, some of the other topics that they discussed that really affected were making sure that we're thinking about what are other ways for assessment. Math, typically it's tests. So really forcing us to think beyond just a test. What are other ways both for formative and summative assessments that students could demonstrate understanding? And making sure that we were also giving adequate feedback and not advice. So making sure that students could use the information that we were receiving as an opportunity to learn and not just a grade. And those are just a very, very few examples of how this program has impacted me and hopefully for the betterment of my students. Thank you again for this opportunity. Goodbye.